presents a new upcoming class. Stay tuned. Sacred Bonds by Darrell Abdullah Kirk. Yes, Sacred Bonds, navigating the depths of Muslim matrimony and the family. You don't want to miss this one. Please stay tuned. Streaming on all major platforms right here on Sunnahfollowers.net.
Wa salat wa salam ala wa rasulullah. I'd like to welcome everybody to our series on establishing the Muslim home. And tonight I'm going to speak about something that seems to is happening in many of the Muslim families, and that is emotional abuse. Remember, Allah tells us that our homes are supposed to be a spiritual sanctuary. It's a place where we women are supposed to be comfortable, protected. And it's the place where the children should be comfortable, protected, the place where the man can come home from his job, relax in the comfort of his wives, relax in the comfort of his children, the companionship of them. But unfortunately, guys, these are the days of fitan. These are the days in which Islam has become strange. These are the days in which the Sunnah has become forgotten. And in many cases, these are the days in which the Sunnah has become abandoned. And we wonder why it is that Allah has sent so many calamities to us. Well, whatever befalls us comes from ourselves. It happens as a result of what we brought upon ourselves. It comes from Allah as a result of what we brought upon ourselves through the choices we've made in life and the actions. Yesterday, when I did my Islam Q&A show, I focused around a bunch of the women here from a polygamy group on Facebook. A lot of the women are sad. They wanted to know how the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam successfully spent his time with his wives when he had more wives than these brothers today do. Well, like I told you, I don't know any man on this planet who practices polygamy the way the Prophet Muhammad does, because the Prophet Muhammad visited all his wives every day, but he only spent the night with whoever's turn it was, but he didn't go a day without visiting all of his wives and all of his children. Okay, he would start after Isha and he'd make his rounds, checking on each and every one of them. And he would end up at whoever's house it was, that whoever's night it was. And he would stay until Fajr and start all over again. I don't know any brothers who's doing this. But then again, the Sunnah is forgotten. The Sunnah is abandoned. And just like I said yesterday, the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam is the best example for us. Every wife he had felt loved. There is not one wife who you will ever read about that complained that he didn't care for her. He made every one of his wives feel special, feel unique, because each one was unique. No two women are the same. For you brothers who don't know that, we're all different. And what the Prophet did is he played on the good qualities of each wife. For example, Hafsa. Hafsa was the only wife of the Prophet that could read and write. He let that be known. Okay. So we have deviated away from how he did things. He emphasized those good qualities and those unique qualities of every one of his wives, and he let them know how unique they were and how he cherished every single unique quality that each one possessed. He never belittled any of his wives. And this is something that a lot of you men are doing today. You belittle us. You belittle your wives. You're always pointing out what you think to be deficiencies in her. Oh, you too this, you're too that. You don't do this, you don't do that. The prophet didn't do that to any of his wives. You know, he would make dua for them. He would make dua for them. If there was something like, for example, Aisha, radiallahu anha, her jealousy. And yes, she was jealous. Every woman is. But the Prophet Muhammad prayed for her. He prayed for her to get control over her jealousy, and she did. Okay? You know, you brothers don't do that. You brothers look to women and try to find the things you don't like and you tear them down. This is a big problem that's going on today. Muslim women are being torn down. You know, they're being belittled. And that's not the Sunnah. That's emotional abuse, and it's very hurtful. As you guys see, when I do my Q&A show, I have so many women that come here with hurtful situations. You're hurting the women. You're not loving them. You're hurting them. You're making them feel like they're nothing, like they're of no value. This is emotional abuse. And not only are you doing it to your wives, you brothers are doing it to your children too, because remember, the children are a reflection of the parents. Do you know that the children today, so many kids today are insecure. They have no self-worth. They have no self-value because that's all they hear about their parents. They hear the father putting down the mother. You're this, you're that, you got this issue, you got that issue. And what happens? The woman then takes that on the children, where you're no good, you're worthless, you're a disappointment. It's a trigger effect, and it's destroying the Muslim families. That's why we have a high apostasy rate. That's why we have a high, believe it or not, guys, I read some statistics today. We have a high suicide rate amongst Muslim women. Did you guys know that? Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. There's a high suicide rate amongst Muslim women. Oh, yeah. So tonight, what we're going to do for this class, when we talk about establishing the Muslim home, we have to establish our homes based on love and tenderness and kindness, you know, and tranquility, as Allah tells us in the Quran. And we're going to be studying, that's what this is about, chapter 4 of the book. Let me put the PowerPoint up on the screen. Yeah, can y'all see it? Wait a minute, I'm trying. My allergies are messed up, so y'all have to excuse me. I don't know what's going on with my allergies. God, I'm blowing my nose every 5 minutes, and my eyes are running like crazy. And I took my Zyrtec. I don't know what's going on. My allergies are off the hook. But anyway, we're going to be studying chapter 4 of the book Sacred Abode. And for those of you who have not yet purchased this book, please go to Amazon and get it. This is how it looks. This is part 2 of the trilogy on the Muslim, on marriage in Islam. And chapter 4, we're going to address how to recognize and recover from emotional abuse. We're going to end on page 30 today, because today what I'm going to do is to speak about the signs that perhaps your family is one that consists of emotional abuse. And then tomorrow I'm going to speak about how we can recover from it. So I want everybody to pay attention, because this topic is extremely, extremely important. Okay. Here's the PowerPoint. All right. Again, the Muslim home is supposed to be a sanctuary of love. It's supposed to be a sanctuary of understanding and compassion. As our Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam told the companions, when Allah sent down, by the way, this is after the Battle of Badr. After the Battle of Badr, when Allah sent down the verses of the Quran telling men how to treat their wives, because before Islam, the men were very abusive towards the women, just as they are today. So after Allah sent the verses down commanding men to give women their rights, the Prophet said, the best amongst you are those who are best to his family. He said, and I am the best amongst my family, because the Prophet treated all his wives very well and his stepchildren. So this hadith emphasizes the importance of treating your family with kindness and compassion, and reinforces the notion that the home should be a place where love and understanding prevails, not hatred and animosity. But we look around us today, it's just like it was. Remember, the Prophet said right before the war against Islam, Islam will become the way it was before Islam, okay? Now the families are like they were before Allah sent down those verses. Instead of the homes being a sanctuary of love and understanding, it's a place of deep emotional turmoil, deep emotional distress. Imagine a child who, instead of receiving kind words to help him or he or she grow, this child is constantly belittled, constantly told that they are worthless. This leaves scars on that child, scars that you can't see, but they're felt in that child's heart. The same with the woman. The woman usually will turn it back on the kid because she got it from her husband. Here's a man who's constantly criticizing her. No matter what she does, nothing is right. She can't cook. She can't clean. It's not good enough. Nothing she does is good enough. She's criticized. She lives in contempt. She's in a cycle of insecurity and self-doubt. And that's what you brothers are doing. You're breaking your wives with all this critiquing of them, telling them that they're not good enough. Keep your opinions to yourself. You don't like her, then get rid of her. You don't sit there and break her. You don't tell her that she's no good. You don't tell a woman that she's bad. You don't make a woman feel that way. These heart-wrenching scenarios illustrate the silent yet calamitous nature of emotional abuse. And emotional abuse is worse than physical abuse. You can get over physical pain, but the mental pain, the emotional pain, it stays with you. And I'm very emotional about this topic because these women are complaining to me all the time. I am a dyer. I keep telling y'all I'm that black bird with the red beak. Okay? I have to hear this. And I feel bad for these sisters. And I feel even worse for the children because the women are taking it out on their kids. And I have to tell so many of these sisters, you mad at your husband, deal with him. Don't take it out on your daughter. She's innocent. Don't take it out on your son. He's innocent. Subhanallah, a vicious cycle we live in. All right. So emotional abuse often manifests itself subtly, making it difficult for the individual to recognize. And just as it's hard to recognize, it's also even harder to confront it. Emotional abuse can take the form of manipulation. How many of you men are manipulating your women? Manipulation occurs when a person's emotions are exploited against them, leading to confusion, leading to a sense of helplessness. That's what you brothers are doing. You're bending your wives to the point of breaking them, manipulating their emotions, exploiting their emotions against them. The women are confused about themselves, and the women feel helpless, so they're leeching out on the kids. Consider a spouse who dismisses their loved one's feelings, labeling them as oversensitive or irrational. How many of you brothers do that? Because your wife comes to you and says, you don't make me feel loved. You call her overly sensitive. You call her irrational, crazy. You call her a drama queen. How many of you brothers call your wives drama queens? Because they try to tell you, I feel I'm not safe. I don't feel safe with you. I don't feel protected with you. You dismiss them by manipulating and turning it around on them. These type of dismissals are what lead to isolation. The woman feeling alone. The woman feeling like she has no one who cares. And the woman then begins to doubt reality. Well, maybe I am crazy. Maybe I am in my head. Maybe I am overly sensitive when she's not. It's you. This is all the nature of emotional abuse. And this is what is happening in the majority of the Muslim homes around the world today. It's sad. And we see it in our children, because our children grow up, many of them apostate from the religion. They blame Islam for their scars, or they remain Muslim, but they keep the cycle of abuse going. The boys marry and treat their wives the way they saw their fathers treat their mothers. Or the girls will marry an abusive brute who will treat them the way their father treated their mother. We have to work on this as a nation, guys. We have to heal ourselves from this. And the journey to healing from emotional abuse requires, first of all, knowledge. Everything begins with and ends with knowledge of Allah. It requires, first of all, understanding what Allah said, how Allah said the Muslim home should be. Understanding what Allah said to the Muslim man in regards to how to treat the wife, and etc., and the rights of the children. And then after knowledge, it requires courage and awareness and a commitment to restore the balance within the home. Healing also involves recognizing these harmful patterns. First of all, you brothers have to own up to it. Stop gaslighting the women. Stop making the women think the problem is them, and look at you. It's you. You're the problem. You're the one that's irrational. You're the one that's insensitive. You're the one that has no empathy, no compassion. You're the one who maybe is bipolar. Maybe your mental state needs to be addressed. Maybe your manhood needs to be checked. You got to own up to your deficiencies. And this is the best time to change, because Ramadan, this is the month of self-evaluation. You know what your weaknesses are as a man. Own up to them and change them. Stop taking them out on your wives. You sisters know what your problem is. The problem is you married to a brute. Address it. Tell them either change or bounce. But stop taking it out on those children. The children are innocent. They can't help it that you chose to marry a brute and that brute fathered them. We have to own up to the problems and make the change to stop the cycle now, guys, because it's bad. It's sad. I wish you guys could see the text messages I get. I wish you guys could see the messages left on my phone from women all over the world, not just here in America. I got women calling me from all over the world, even Arabic women, even women from Pakistan. I got women from the Caribbean calling me. I got women who live in South Africa calling me about the abuse that's going on. As Muslims, we have to foster an environment of empathy, an environment of communication and mutual respect. Then we can take the steps to transform our homes into the sacred abodes that they are meant to be, where all family members feel special. They all feel valued. They all feel supported, loved, and safe. That's the key word, safe. Most women don't feel safe in their homes. Most children don't feel safe in their homes. Most men don't want to go home. They're looking for other homes. That's why they get 2, 3, 4. And they find that even with 2, 3, 4, they still don't have a home because they haven't checked themselves. They haven't changed and recognized the problem within themselves. They're just taking that problem from one home to another. We have to end this vicious cycle, Muslims. We have taken on the behavior of the non-Muslims. And since we've adapted their behavior, now we have their problems. Now we have the drug problems in our homes. Now we have the apostasy rate. Now we have all the problems the Kafirs have because we've emulated them. Okay? So by recognizing emotional abuse in our relationships, that's the first step in trying to change it. And so tonight, what I want to do is go over 10 common signs. And this is the last 10 days of Ramadan. These are the nights of self-evaluation. As you guys are making your night prayers, as you're reading Quran, I want you guys to sit down and take a good long look at these 10 signs and ask yourself, be honest with yourself, are these signs in existence in your home? Because these are signs that you or someone else in your home may be experiencing emotional abuse. And once you recognize that any of these signs exist, tomorrow we're going to speak about how we can address them. The first sign, constant criticism or constant belittling. Are you frequently subjected to negative comments or insults or put downs, which can undermine your self-esteem? When your husband comes home and you give him salams, does he say, "Where's the dinner? Why did you cook this? Why didn't you do that?" Does he complain? Does he put you down? Does he call you stupid? Does he call you a crazy bent? Like one sister told me, her husband's always calling her a bent. You don't call her that name. She ain't your daughter. You don't call her a crazy bent. Are you crazy? You're crazy. Check your children. Are your children off? Are you insulting your kids, always putting them down, calling them names, never complimenting them? That's a sign of emotional abuse. What about this? The abuser may use emotional manipulation to control your actions, your decisions, your feelings. Does your husband do that? Does he manipulate and control your actions? Do you manipulate and control your children's action? Does your husband try to put you on a guilt trip? Do you in turn try to make your children feel guilty? This is gaslighting. This is emotional abuse, a sign of emotional abuse. What about this? Do your children come home from school and they go immediately up to their bedroom and close the door? They don't want to be around you. They try to stay away from you. They try to isolate themselves because every time you're around them, you're yelling at them, criticizing them, putting them down. When your husband comes home, do you run into the basement or do you lock yourself up in a room? Do you hate or dread being around him? That's isolation. Does your husband try to keep you away from your friends who are good Muslims? Does your husband try to keep you from coming to Laila Nasheeba? I'm talking me, Laila Nasheeba, to learn from her. He wants to isolate you from the woman that can teach you the deen correctly. That's a sign of emotional abuse. Also, another sign. Your husband gives you no affection. He shows you no attention. He gives you no support. If you go to him and complain about how something is bothering you, he blames you. He says you brought it on yourself. And do you do that to your kids? The kids feel like there's no affection. You never hug them. You never kiss them. When the kids come to you and tell you about a problem that they're faced with, you tell them that they caused it. It's their fault. That's emotional withholding. The child feels unloved. You feel unloved. The child doesn't feel supported. The child doesn't feel of value. Neither do you. That's a sign of emotional abuse. And again, threatening. Is your husband always threatening to divorce you? Oh, that's a big one. Oh, yeah, he told me he threatens to divorce me. Are you threatening to punish your kids all the time? Clean up that room or else I'm going to beat your behind. Clean up that room or else. That's intimidation. That's a sign of emotional and psychological abuse. Yeah, a lot of us are experiencing this in our homes, aren't we? Oh, yeah. Other signs. Blaming and shifting responsibility. Does your husband blame you for problems? All the problems in your marriage, all the problems in your relationship is all because of you. If only you had done this, if you hadn't have done that, life would be better. Or do you always shift the responsibility to your kids? You blame your children as to why this happens that way. If only you would have done this. If only you would have taken out the garbage, your father wouldn't have been angry at me. Blaming, shifting the responsibility. That's a sign of emotional abuse in the home. Another sign, mood swings. Oh, yeah. Your husband causes you to experience extreme shifts in your mood. One moment, he makes you feel like, okay, there's a chance. And he'll hug you. Then afterwards, he'll tell you, you're nothing. You're the worst thing that ever happened to me. So you go up and down. You're happy, then sad, happy and sad. The same with the kids. One moment the kids might feel safe enough to come out the room, but then they run back to the room and close the door because you yell at them and stuff. Mood swings, unpredictability, these are signs of emotional abuse. What about excessive jealousy or possessiveness? Your husband tells you that you are not of any value. You're worthless. You're the worst woman he's ever known. You're the worst person he's ever known. Ain't nothing good about you. You got mental problems. You're psychotic. But then again, he don't want you to leave the house. He don't want you to visit your family. He gets jealous if you talk to the mailman. He gets jealous if you give salams to another brother. What about the kids? You get jealous when you see that the children have a good relationship with their aunt. So you say you don't want your sister coming over no more because your sister is turning the kids against you. That's a sign of emotional abuse. And again, your self-worth. You feel ashamed. You feel guilty. You feel unworthy. You feel that you a sinner, that you going to hell, that you deserve everything bad. You don't deserve to be happy. Or you feel that you can never do anything right. Or the kids feel that way. That's another sign of emotional abuse in the home. And again, the big one, fear. Whenever your husband comes home, it's as if all the oxygen left the room. You and the kids walk around on eggshells, afraid of what he might say, afraid of triggering his anger, of fear, afraid of triggering his abuse, his disapproval. Do the kids walk on eggshells around you? They're afraid of you yelling at them. All of these 10 things are signs of emotional abuse within the home. And I'm willing to bet you anything that the majority of you listening to me have at least 3 or 4 of these. 3 or 4 of these signs. Because it's so common with us today. We have to understand that recognizing and admitting that these signs exist, that's the first step in breaking free from the cycle of emotional abuse. You have to understand that, guys. Remember, Allah says in the Quran, He will never change the condition of a person or a people until we take the steps, initiate the steps to change the condition of ourselves. So admitting that it exists, that's the first sign. That's the first step in ridding yourself of this. Okay? And then once you recognize that you are in a marriage or a relationship of emotional abuse, then that's when you take the second step, which is turn to the Quran and turn to the authentic hadiths that emphasize the dignity and the worth of every human being. Because one thing about Islam, Allah hates oppression. Oppression will be a darkness on the day of judgment. We don't even oppress our enemies. Islam teaches us compassion, empathy, and kindness, and respect in all situations, even in war times. Listen to what Allah says in the interpretation of the meaning. O you who have believed, do not let a people ridicule another people, because perhaps those that you ridicule may be better than you. When Allah sent that verse down, that's when the prophet talked about the 6 things. There are 6 characteristics of the Christians that are good. And because of those 6 characteristics, they will always be in the majority over us. Because we won't ever have them. We don't have them. One of the things is they take care of their homeless. They take care of their poor. Another thing is they recover from calamities real quick. They don't sit around feeling sorry for themselves. When Allah sends a calamity to them, they jump up. They recover from it real quick. Another one is they don't allow bad leaders to rule over them. If they got a ruler who is bad, they execute them. They take them out. So this is an example. Don't ridicule a people because perhaps they may be better than you. There are 6 things that the Christians have better than us. Okay, there's good in everything, in everyone. So Islam teaches us, don't go around ridiculing, belittling people. We have to treat people with respect and dignity. We reject emotional harm. We reject belittlement. That's why whenever the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam sent a companion out to give dawah, to teach Islam, he reminded them, be careful and beware of the supplication of the oppressed, because there is no screen between the person who is oppressed and Allah. Even if that person's a kafir, Allah will hear the supplication of a person who's oppressed. So that's the first step. If you realize that you got emotional abuse going on in your house, in your home, this is bad. Allah hates oppression. So you would turn to the Quran and you would turn to the hadith like I'm giving you now. And when we look at the life of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, his life is filled with examples of how to handle ourselves in marriage, in good times, in bad times, in war times, how to deal with the non-believers. And you will see in every aspect it entailed compassion, empathy. For example, in war, when he found out that the companions, that Bilal had dragged the women through the battlefield and they saw the dead bodies of their relatives killed on the field, the Prophet got angry. He said, Bilal, are you crazy? He said, why would you drag these women, allow them to see their dead men, their fathers, their brothers dead on the battlefield? He said, cover those bodies up. That's why as Muslims, we're not supposed to be putting the bodies of dead people on display. The Prophet said, have some dignity. You brothers and sisters are posting up dead babies, dead Muslims from Gaza. This is haram. We don't do that. That's not Islam. That's not compassion. That's not empathy. The Prophet told Bilal, never show a person at their worst. And the worst are the pangs of death. You want to know why our Muslim homes are filled with emotional abuse? Look at your social media pages. You're an abusive renegade yourself. So the first step in ridding your home of this abuse is to first turn back to the Quran and turn back to the hadiths, because the Prophet's teachings emphasize the importance of emotional intelligence and self-awareness. And he encourages us to cultivate these qualities even in our personal relationships with one another. So, as we embark upon this 22nd night of fasting, as you do your self-evaluation and make your supplications, your personal supplications to Allah, I want you guys to go over those 10 signs and be honest. Ask yourself, is your home a spiritual sanctuary, or is your home a place of emotional abuse? And then tomorrow for this class, I'm going to go over some things we can do to rid ourselves of it. All right. Subhanakallahumma wa bihamdika ashhadu an